Hey everybody, welcome back to Power Tips. Today we want to talk about the customer service contact center. This is a new announcement within the last month, and we're just learning about it, and we want to talk about what we're learning and our thoughts and questions. So I'll let Heidi kick it off with a quick overview.
Thank you. So this is a relatively new announcement that we're talking about. There's not a ton of information out there. It was announced June 4th. And basically what the Dynamics 365 Contact Center is, it's a Copilot first contact center. It says it will deliver generative AI to every customer engagement channel. I'm curious about that. And GA is coming up soon, July 1st. But as of now, there's really not a ton of information, especially around licensing and the pricing model and how this fits in. But we'll talk about that stuff in a minute. I think the easiest way for us to provide some awesome commentary about this new feature is to watch this minute and a half long promo video from Microsoft.
My new tent is broken. Is it still under warranty?
Your Trailmaster X4 is covered for 90 days. Do you need to start a return?
Maybe I just need help setting it up.
Sure thing. Let me connect you to an agent.
Lots to unpack there.
Oh,
Lots.
yeah.
Before we do, is anyone else confused? Because from what I understand, I could be very wrong. This product is built on top of Copilot in Dynamics for Service. If you're confused, check our prior video about prepositional importance within M4. It's built in conjunction with Copilot for Dynamics for Service. But it's this new product, it's this new standalone product, and it's going to replace Omnichannel. Discuss.
Yeah, I'm definitely confused. And I was looking at some of the documentation yesterday before this call, and some of the screenshots were in customer service workspace, and some of the screenshots were in customer insights, and I was very confused. So I think I'll be interested to see what's in this announcement. I think Omnichannel's been said it's going to go away for a while now, right? So it'll be interesting to see, okay, finally we have a replacement, but what does that really entail?
So I'm learning. That's the first I've seen that video. I have not read any of the documentation, just busy schedules, had some time off. So I didn't really prepare very well for this session. So I thought, okay, I'm going to just learn along, probably alongside several of our viewers who are seeing that video for the first time and even hearing about this for the first time. And so there's several big questions for me. I think the ones you've already articulated are very good. I also wonder if this is Microsoft taking action on starting to bring everything together, but it's doing it in a way that's going to feel a little more bumpy than smooth first, right? So the road to get there is going to feel a little harder because we've got to go through the act of pulling all this together, but eventually we're going to get to this contact center that's going to just pull all these components into one place. Because I see where they're talking about, right? The whole for and in. The for, that part of that video was, here's where you can connect to these different solutions, your existing WEM solution and so on.
Yeah.
So that's the for part of it, right? The ability to connect into external sources and stuff. That makes sense. But some of the things they showed in that video are the in customer service pieces. The other thing that jumped out at me was that voice bot. That was a bot, right? That was, and we
Yeah.
just had a conversation about this, I think off video recently, but the one of the newer features for ChatGPT was that you can actually listen to it and it'll read it to you, and it is eerily realistic. And so I heard that in that video as well. It sounded like a human, right? With inflection and pause, and you could almost hear them breathing. And that is wild to me that they're layering that kind of stuff into. So lots of cool stuff, but a lot to
Yeah.
unpack.
That was really impressive. It does require you to be all in on AI and really trusting Copilot, right? Like this, I know, Copilot, not autopilot, but this is essentially replacing your frontline workers, right? In customer service.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of the autopilot there if it's going to be
Yeah.
automatic chat responses, right? Prior
Mhm.
to it getting to a human.
But I do think it makes a lot of sense, right? Because if a chatbot can do that, it's just
Yeah.
putting a voice
Yeah.
behind what the chatbot would do. So I think it's totally logical to do that, and those bots have been
Yeah.
replacing people or allowing organizations to re-strategize how those people are used is the way I like
I
to think about it,
know,
right?
that's the right way to say it.
That's what I would hope, but
A way.
without question, there's organizations who are like, great, now we don't need these 4 people, bye, and
Mhm,
that's the way it
mhm.
rolls, which is unfortunate. But yeah, the IVR stuff that gave me almost goosebumps when it started talking and responding to the customer like a human. It's just wild.
Mhm.
I
But
also think, Malcolm, what you're saying about how this is bringing all this stuff together, it makes me wonder, like, what does that mean? What's next, right? Are we going to have the same thing for sales that's going to bring together all of these tools? And sure, we're going to be very confused, but it will be nice to like have it all together and see what that's going to look like. But
the
I agree.
the article you have pulled up on screen,
Mhm.
that very opening sentence to me speaks volumes, because I think sometimes Microsoft gets a rap for, well, stuff changes so rapidly, and I mean that's just technology, as we all know, but they tend to change course on things at times, and all of a sudden this thing is no longer happening and we're going to go over this direction. And I
Mhm.
think we give them flack for that, but this first sentence to me speaks to why that would happen. Hey, we learned, and we're going to course correct based on what we've learned. Because why would we pursue a path down something that maybe isn't working the way we envisioned, or we've learned from the way people are using it that there's an even more impactful outcome that we could have. But in order to do that, we have to change course and get there. And I think we collectively as a community or as a user base whole are like, oh, can't they just stick with that one thing for a while? But I guess it kind of makes sense, especially in this day and age. Everything changes so fast that it makes sense. And I'd rather them base it on what they're actually learning in the data than
Mhm.
we think you'd like this tool, so we're just going to create it and see if you use it, which still happens and it should. But at least this is based in usage and learnings.
Mhm. Yep. And I like the out of the box metrics you seem to get as a manager. I think people really, really like that.
Mhm.
And you can pivot and make changes based on what some of those metrics are telling you.
So you mentioned there's a lot to unpack, and that, again, watching this for the first time, I have other questions like, first, where should I read all this? So we'll put that links to the documentation in the video below, but or below the video rather.
Yeah.
But starting to unpack the timeline that you called out, you just highlighted it, right? It's June. This is coming GA July 1st. There's not a lot of content out there, is what I am understanding you guys to say.
Mhm. Yep.
So that's, I don't know if that's concerning or alarming or par for the course. I'm not sure, but that July 1st is like 4 days away.
Days.
So,
Yeah. And
right.
there is more documentation other than just this announcement, but it's also pretty high level.
Mhm. Mhm.
Interesting. Well, lots to unpack and lots to, again, we'll put the links below, but we're curious to hear your reaction to this, right? Is this something that you're prepared for? Do you see a use for it? Is there something that you would draw from this? I hope so, because starting July 1st, it'll be pushing into GA. And I think the big question is, what does that mean for existing users, right? And how is this going to impact people who are using maybe the omni-channel stuff and some of the other capabilities. So all great questions to ask. I don't know if answers exist just yet, so I guess we'll all learn as we go. But on that note, we thank you for watching, and we hope you join us on our next episode of Power Tips, and have a wonderful rest of your day.